Good morning, everyone. Today I want to tell you something that might shake you. Your mind is lying to you. It tells you you're not good enough, that you're too late, too weak, too broken to rise. But here's the truth. Your mind, if left unchecked, is a master manipulator. It will replay every failure, amplify every fear, and highlight every insecurity until you believe you are defined by them. It doesn't care about your growth. It cares about your comfort. And comfort is a killer. Your mind will whisper, "Take it easy," when you need to push. It'll scream, "You're tired," when you've still got more inside. It'll say, "You've done enough," just when you're one step from your breakthrough. But if you want to win in this life, to truly win, you have to challenge every lie your mind feeds you. You have to become the watcher of your thoughts, the commander of your focus, the editor of your inner voice. Winning starts when you stop letting that voice go unchecked and start building a new one, forged through discipline, not emotion. You have to override fear with faith, excuses with execution, hesitation with habit. The real battle is not out there, it's between your ears. That's the battlefield, and that's where champions are made. When your mind says "I can't," you respond with "I will." When it says "This is too much," you say "I was built for this." When it begs for rest, you remind it that strength is earned, not given. Most people never reach their full potential not because they're not capable, but because they believed the lies their mind kept repeating. But not you. Not anymore. You're waking up. You're reprogramming that voice. You're replacing weakness with willpower, doubt with dominance. You're writing a new script, one of resilience, hunger, and relentless pursuit of greatness. Because here's how you win. You stop waiting to feel ready and start acting like the person you're becoming. You train your mind to serve you, not sabotage you. You remind yourself daily that fear is natural, but quitting is a choice. That pain is part of progress, that growth is uncomfortable, and that every time your mind tries to lie to you again, you'll be ready, not with words but with action. The kind of action that silences all doubt. The kind of action that builds unshakable confidence. The kind of action that turns you into a force no one can stop. Your mind may lie, but your work will always tell the truth. So get up, lock in, and fight back. Win the war within, and the world outside has no chance of defeating you. Your mind has one mission: to keep you safe, not to make you great. And that's exactly where the first lie begins. It's constantly looking for comfort, for security, for the familiar. It resists anything that threatens the status quo, even if that status quo is destroying your potential. That voice in your head, the one that says you're not ready, you're not good enough, this isn't for you, that's not the voice of reason, that's the voice of fear. And fear is a master of disguise. It shows up as logic, as caution, as being realistic. But what it's really doing is robbing you of growth. When your mind lies, it does so in whispers. Subtle, sneaky phrases like, "Just wait a little longer," "What if you fail," or "You're too tired today." And the more you listen to those whispers, the more they become your truth. But here's what you need to understand. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. You have the power to decide what stays and what goes. The first step to winning is catching the lie before it becomes a belief. When you hear the voice that tells you to quit, recognize it for what it is: your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. But growth lives in discomfort. Greatness lives in discomfort. Every time you choose to challenge that voice, you create a crack in the wall of limitation. One small act of defiance against your inner doubt builds mental muscle. It's not about making the fear disappear, it's about showing up in spite of it. You have to practice talking back to the lies. When your mind says you're not capable, you respond, "Watch me." When it says this is too hard, you say hard is what makes it valuable. This is the training. This is the real gym, not the weights, not the treadmill, but right between your ears. Your mental fitness is the foundation of every result you'll ever achieve. But fitness isn't built on comfort, it's built on resistance. And that resistance is your own inner critic, your own fear, your own hesitation. The lie your mind tells you is that you need motivation to act, but the truth is action comes first. Action is what reprograms your thoughts. The more you act, the more evidence you give yourself that you are capable. The more evidence you have, the more the lies lose power. You start replacing doubt with data. You prove to yourself that you're not who your fear says you are. You are who your effort says you are. This is how you win, not by silencing the mind, but by mastering it, by learning its patterns, by interrupting its lies, and by training it like a muscle, with repetition, with discomfort, and with intention. Most people never escape the trap of their mind, because they never question it. They think because a thought pops up it must be true. But not you. You're not just awake, you're aware. You know the mind can lie. You know the mind can deceive. And now you're ready to fight back with awareness, with truth, and with discipline. This is your battlefield, and this is your first weapon: to recognize the lie, the moment it shows up, and to call it out, not with words, but with action. Because action is the loudest truth. You don't have to feel confident. Act anyway. You don't have to feel fearless. Move anyway. Your job is not to control the mind, but to outwork it, train it, starve its lies, and feed it with habits that prove your power. The mind says you can't. Your work will prove you can. The mind says you're not ready. Your effort will prove you've always been. Don't let a temporary thought define your permanent potential. Every great achievement begins with a mind that refused to be bullied by fear. So from this moment on, that's your mission. Spot the lie, speak the truth, then back it up with relentless action, because that's how you win the war within. Truth you must accept, if you want to win the war with your mind, is that pain is not your enemy. It's your most honest ally. Your mind lies to you by convincing you that pain should be avoided at all costs. It tells you that if something hurts, you should stop. If it's uncomfortable, you should walk away. If it stretches you, you must not be meant for it. But that's a lie. The truth is that pain is not a signal to retreat. It's a signal to pay attention. It's a message that you are moving beyond the known into the territory where growth lives. Your mind fears this territory because it can't predict the outcome. It prefers the illusion of control over the chaos of transformation. But you weren't built to live small just because your thoughts are afraid. You were built to go further, push harder, and fight longer than your comfort zone wants you to believe. The problem is not that you feel fear or pain. The problem is that you've been taught to interpret it the wrong way. When you feel pain, your mind screams stop, but what you need to learn to say back is, this is where I'm supposed to be. Because every step into pain is a step into power. Every challenge you face that stretches you is carving out a stronger, sharper, more focused version of you. When you avoid pain, you avoid progress, and that's exactly what your mind wants. It wants to keep you busy surviving instead of growing. It will distract you with pleasure, with procrastination, with self-pity, just to keep you away from the grind that builds you. But pain doesn't mean you're breaking. Sometimes pain means you're breaking through. That burning in your muscles, that ache of discipline, that sting of failure, they are all bricks in the foundation of mental toughness. The pain of showing up when it's hard, of choosing consistency over comfort, of saying no when it's tempting to give in. This is the pain that builds winners. You don't grow stronger by running from it. You grow stronger by leaning into it. And the more pain you learn to endure with purpose, the less control your mind has over you. Your pain tolerance becomes your power level. The more you stretch it, the more you realize that discomfort is not death. It's a sign of life, of movement, of evolution. So instead of asking how do I avoid the pain, ask how do I grow through it. Instead of wishing it was easier, start preparing to become stronger. Your mind may lie and say you're not meant to struggle, but struggle is the price of becoming something extraordinary. No one who ever achieved greatness did so without walking through the fire. No one becomes unbreakable without first being tested. So if you're hurting, good. It means you're alive. It means you care. It means you're working. Don't run from it. Use it. Harness it. Let the pain fuel the transformation. Let it remind you that you're fighting for something bigger than your excuses. Because here's the deeper truth. When you train yourself to sit with pain instead of escaping it, you become mentally unshakable. You become the kind of person who doesn't collapse when it gets tough. You become the kind of warrior who thrives under pressure, who stays calm in chaos, who builds while others break. That is the power your mind wants to hide from you, but not anymore. From now on, every ounce of pain is proof that you're growing. Every hard moment is a stepping stone. Every challenge is a teacher. And when your mind tries to lie to you again, when it tells you to quit, to take the easy way out, to step back, you'll remember this. Pain is not your problem. Avoiding it is. So feel it, face it, and let it shape you into the person you were born to become. The mind lies by default because it has been conditioned over years of fear, failure, and false narratives, most of which were not even yours to begin with. From childhood, we absorb limitations from others. We hear you can't, that's too hard, be realistic, and our subconscious soaks it up like a sponge, embedding it deep within our identity. These thoughts don't just sit in your head, they shape how you see the world, how you act, and how far you're willing to go. Your mind becomes a loop, repeating the same doubts and beliefs until they feel like facts. But here's the powerful truth. The same way you were programmed is the same way you can reprogram. Your brain is not fixed, it's plastic. It changes. And what changes it? Repetition. Daily, intentional, relentless repetition. This is how you rewrite the lies your mind has accepted as truth. You start by speaking power into yourself, even when it feels fake. You wake up and say, I am disciplined. I am focused. I am powerful. Not because you feel it yet, but because you are planting seeds. You repeat it until your mind starts to believe a new narrative. And then you act on that belief. That's the key. Affirmation alone is not enough. Repetition must be paired with aligned action. If you say you're disciplined but always hit snooze, the old program wins. But if you say it and live it, wake up, get after it, grind despite resistance, then the loop begins to shift. Your identity rewrites itself. The mind doesn't care what you repeat, it just believes whatever it hears and sees the most. If you keep feeding it weakness, excuses, and negativity, that's exactly what it will reinforce. But if you flood it with power, with courage, with truth, you will become the person who refuses to quit. Every day is an opportunity to rewire. Every decision is a message to your subconscious. This is who I am now. When you consistently choose discomfort over distraction, effort over ease, purpose over pleasure, your brain begins to adapt. New neural pathways form. New beliefs take root, and eventually the voice in your head that once lied to you becomes a voice that drives you, one that pushes you harder, one that reminds you what you're capable of. That kind of transformation doesn't come from motivation. It comes from discipline, and discipline is built through repetition. When your mind lies and says you're not good enough, you reply, watch me. When it says you failed too much, you say every failure is fuel. When it whispers, you're not ready, you move anyway, because motion rewrites emotion. Consistency beats self-doubt, and when you show up again and again despite what your mind tells you, you prove that you are in control. You stop being the passenger and take the wheel. That is how you win. Not overnight, not in one massive moment, but in the 1,000 silent decisions no one sees. Getting up when it's hard,
speaking truth when it hurts, acting in alignment with who you want to become, until that version of you is all that remains. Your mind might always whisper lies, but it's your repeated response that decides who you become. So repeat power, repeat truth, repeat discipline, and eventually your reality will reflect the identity you were always meant to live. You must grasp if you want to overcome the lies of your mind, is that isolation is where weakness thrives, but accountability is where strength is born. Your mind lies to you the most when you're alone, when no one's watching, when the room is silent and your thoughts grow loud. It tells you that you're the only one struggling, that your dreams are too big, that no one would understand, and that it's easier to stay hidden. That lie grows stronger when you're disconnected from purpose-driven people. The mind wants you isolated because it knows that in isolation it can control the narrative without challenge. It can make you believe you're broken, unworthy, or incapable. But when you surround yourself with those who are also climbing, who are disciplined, who don't accept excuses, everything changes. Accountability becomes the mirror your mind fears because it forces truth to surface. When you're in a circle of people who call out your laziness, your hesitation, your potential, you can't hide behind lies anymore. You're seen, you're challenged, and that discomfort becomes the very thing that sets you free. The mind wants ease, but accountability brings friction, and friction creates growth. When someone's watching, you work harder. When someone believes in you, you rise. When someone reminds you who you said you wanted to be, you stop settling for who you've been. That's why mentors, coaches, strong friendships, and even public declarations matter. They hold you to your word when your mind tries to pull you back into weakness. They remind you that your feelings are temporary, but your purpose is permanent. You must build your environment with intention. Who are you listening to? Who are you learning from? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you're only around comfort seekers, you'll slowly become one. But if you align yourself with warriors, with people who live in discipline, who rise early, train hard, think big, and move with purpose, your standards will rise. Not because you're pressured, but because you're inspired. Because your mind starts realizing that the lies it used to feed you don't match the reality you're now choosing. Accountability destroys excuses. You can't tell yourself it's too hard when someone beside you is doing it harder. You can't say I don't have time when someone else is making time and building something powerful. Your mind wants to protect you from being exposed, but you must be exposed to grow. You must let someone see your flaws, your habits, your effort, and your potential. That exposure creates pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. You don't win this war in the shadows. You win it when you step into the light and say, here I am. Watch me become who I was meant to be. Stop thinking you have to do this alone. Stop believing that isolation is strength. It's not. True strength is built when you link arms with others who won't let you quit, who won't let you lie to yourself, and who won't accept less than your highest level. This isn't about proving yourself to others. It's about surrounding yourself with people who won't let your mind keep lying to you. People who challenge your comfort, who demand your best, and who remind you daily that you're made for more. The mind wants to keep you silent, safe, and stagnant, but iron sharpens iron. And when you step into environments of truth, of accountability, and of excellence, your mind no longer has the final say. The truth becomes louder than the lie. The mission becomes bigger than the fear. And that's how you win. So now you know. Your mind isn't always your ally. It's often the first battlefield you must conquer. It lies to you to keep you safe, small, and stuck. But you are not here to live a safe life. You are here to live a significant one. You've seen how awareness is your first weapon, how mastering self-talk is your next move, how repetition reprograms your reality, and how accountability breaks the chains of isolation. This isn't a one-time fight, it's a daily war. But if you show up with intention, if you speak truth louder than doubt, if you act before you feel ready, and if you surround yourself with people who challenge your limits, you will win. Not because your mind stops lying, but because you've trained yourself to stop listening. You'll wake up each day knowing you are stronger than your fear, bigger than your setbacks, and more powerful than any voice that tells you to quit. So rise with discipline, move with purpose, speak with truth, and live with fire, because this is your mind, your life, and your victory to claim.